There are things that are going on which makes me go crazy. Then there are things that are going on in the Howards that does not make sense. That does not make sense. For example, now this is the point where I don't talk much about what I didn't like about the book because it's Harry Potter. We all can say that it has its flaws, but you accept them after a point of time because that's how the story is made. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Satchipam Gupta, aka wallflowersg, and today we are gonna talk about third book from Harry Potter series. That is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Guys, there is a spoiler alert right now. I'm telling you. If you haven't watched the movie, if you haven't read the book, if you haven't done either one of them, but one of them, you can leave. Or you can stay if you're not thinking to do the second thing. So today we're gonna talk about Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. So guys, let's jump into the book review. And before that, we'll do the book summary first. So guys, Harry Potter is in the third year of Hogwarts, and before we reach there are things that are gonna happen to him and with him. For example, he's back at Privet Drive. His life is miserable, just like always, when he isn't Privet Drive. Second thing, there is something new coming up in Hogwarts. For that, he needs permission from his uncle and aunt. And his uncle decides that I'll give you the permission, darling. But for that, you would have to behave because his sister, Aunt Marge, is coming over. Just like Dursley's, Aunt Marge is a mean person. And Aunt Marge starts telling things to Harry that how bad he is, how bad his parents were, and she says something along the lines of if the mother is bad, child will be bad too. What's wrong with her? I guess everything, just like in the Dursleys. Fourth thing, when he couldn't bear any of it, can't blame him. You just can't go off and tell people about that how bad their parents are. No one can handle that. Now, can they? Can you? I can't. So he used magic. Last year, for the record, he got a letter from Minister of Magic for the magic he didn't do. What was he thinking? That he'll get an appreciation letter? Not happening. He gets another letter from Minister of Magic for the magic he did this time. Proud of you, Harry Potter. Proud of you. Now, the fifth thing. Because of that, Uncle Dudley decides that he's not gonna sign on any paper, on any piece of paper for Harry Potter because his sister is in pain. Okay. Then Harry decides that it's time to leave the place. He packs up his bag. Oh wait, before that, something else happens. His miserable life. Okay. First point was right. Then Ron calls. Mr. Weasley. Oh, sorry. Ron Weasley calls Harry Potter. And Uncle Dudley. And Uncle Dursley screams. What is wrong with him? Why is he screaming so much? Shut up. Okay. Now, because of that, there is something going on about which Harry Potter is unknown to. Am I right or am I right? Or maybe I'm wrong. Back to the story. When, after the fifth point, actually that will be sixth point. After the sixth point, which is when Harry decides to leave his uncle and aunt's place, he packs up his bag and leaves immediately. He does not stop there at all. Now, what happens is, he saw a dog, a black dog, which was scary because that black dog appears from nowhere and he scares Harry. Doesn't do anything against him, but that was a pretty scary sight. And I am gonna leave bunch of details here and there so that you can go ahead and read the book. The night bus appears. the night bus. It's a bus service for magical world. If any magical world person, if any wizard is in trouble, they can just board that bus and leave. And there are beds. There are beds in the bus. Pretty crazy. Chairs, beds because it's night, chairs because it's day, all that thing. Beautiful. Now there is one very fishy thing about which I have to discuss, but I'll discuss about it at the end. Let's make a note of that. Okay, when he boards the bus, the night bus, he reaches a point. It's more like a living place for wizards and Ministry of Magic minister. And Ministry of Magic is there to say hello to Harry, to make him sit there quietly and to check whether Harry is perfectly fine or not. Okay. Now, after that, Harry Potter finally starts working on his work, his homework, his holiday homework. Although it's kind of crazy that these are not holidays, like their second year got over, how would they get homework at that point of time? He's doing homework, he goes out, goes around the places which is nearby Diagon Alley, and he would visit Diagon Alley, he would get his things, whatever he wanted and all that. Then he would meet Weasleys and Hermione, and a lot of things happen, but not too much because Hermione needs a pet at that point of time, and he goes to the pet store and gets a cat, Crookshank. And it's a crazy thing. So now in third part of the Harry Potter series, we are not talking a lot about Voldemort, but we are talking about the people. We are the people who are currently in Hogwarts. For example, we are talking about their study, their education, why certain things are happening, why we are not talking about Voldemort, I don't know. But this book is a lot more like that. In first and second part of the series, we were talking about Voldemort. We were just telling people to get curious about how Voldemort is trying to kill Harry Potter, or trying to find a way to get his hands on Hogwarts, or to the magical world, and he's trying to destroy everything. But here in third part, we're not talking about Voldemort at all. It's like the Voldemort part is over, which is not, because at the end of the book there are a lot of things that starts unveiling, and that's the point where we get to know why we haven't had a word about Voldemort in a really long time. Now if we go back to the story, you'll see that this part of the Harry Potter series, here we're talking about character development. Hermione is developing, Harry Potter is developing, they're getting mature, they are learning things, and in this part specifically we are more concentrating on education, what they are learning, their relationship with each other, how professors are behaving, and what are the new challenges they have to face in school. It's nice that J.K. Rowling has started talking about Hogwarts as a normal school, and not just about magical creatures, but also the normal human, like muggles. Also, for example, we're talking about maths, how arithmetic is, in every other thing. They're also talking about divination, as we all say that it's about magic and everything. So they're talking about that too, all the subjects, we get to get an insight of all the subjects and everything along the lines. Now this book is one of the most important book, I'll say, for the rest of the series, because here you get to know a lot more about each character. How Ron behaves in a certain situation, what are the flaws that Hermione has. Although this book makes me question a lot of things, and we'll talk about it later on, but right now we'll get back to the story. We'll put these questions and everything on a side and we'll get back to the story. Now, while all of this is happening, they get on their train to Hogwarts. Something crazy happens, and that is the entry of Dementors. That's the point where we're gonna start talking about Dementors and Professor Lupin's presence. Professor Lupin is introduced in this book as dark art teacher, and Dementors are new, crazy, scary creatures that are introduced in this book. Rest of the characters are pretty much the same, but there are tons more of characters. For example, we'll talk about Hippogriff and the plants from the schools, from the agricultural world, from the magical agricultural world. So there are a lot of things, but Dementors are one of the craziest, scariest thing ever, and they are talked as depression. They represent depression more like, because they suck the happy memories from you. They eat your bad memories, and they they feed on your bad memories. The right word would be. So that's the thing that are going on. That Lupin comes in, Professor Lupin comes in, and he saves Harry because Dementor kisses Harry. So Harry Potter is not a kind of book where we know what the end is, but we are just moving with the story. So it just keeps going on and on and on. A lot of elements are introduced. For example, after reaching Hogwarts, Hermione gets a gift from one of the professors, Professor McGonagall, I guess, that she gets a time turner, or was it Dumbledore? I think it was Professor McGonagall, and she uses it to get into all of her classes. It's kind of crazy. I have another question for that point. We'll talk about it at the end, where I'll be like asking you questions like, do you know why or what and all that. So back to the story. Then Hagrid introduces Hippogriff to the class, and there is a very huge commotion around it. As we know, Malfoy can be Malfoy, and he gets injured by Hippogriff, and then he goes crazy about it. Things happen, and finally it is decided to kill Hippogriff, but it's not dead. Even though there is a point of time where we believe that Hippogriff is dead, but it's not. And the story of how Harry's parents died, the brief story, what people know about, and how they are like, even if they're not manipulating the story, what are they exactly saying? What are they exactly talking about it? And how these things, these small things, actually make a whole different world. What is the story behind Harry's parents getting killed and Sirius Black, the connection, why Lupin is taking potions, or who killed, we all know who killed Harry's parents, that is Voldemort, but how did he reach there? All those things. There are so many things that I can talk about. And the Patronus charm. Patronus charm is one of the charms, or is it the only charm that can make a Dementor leave the space or the place? That is, I think, that is the only charm that happens. And how did Harry got his grip on it? So many things. These are the small questions that I had, and book was so good in explaining all of these questions to me, giving me answers to these questions. But then there are so many confusion for me yet. We'll talk about it in a while, I promise. These were the things that were bundled inside me when I was reading Harry Potter, and when I ended up reading, when I finished reading Harry Potter Part 3. Now, talking about what I liked about this book, I know I just ended up the summary just like that because I don't want to talk so much about the book because the story is really long. If I start telling you all the points, there will be points where I'll feel bad that why didn't I talk about those things. For example, right now I'm thinking about why didn't I tell you in the very beginning that Harry Potter got his gifts from Ron, Hermione, Hagrid, and everyone, and how those things really changed his life in a way while he was in Privet Drive and when he moved to the place nearby or in Diagon Alley when he took the night bus. Because there are so many things that I want to talk about, I have no idea like where to put the full stop. So that is why I'm thinking about making a reading vlog now. There's so many things that I want to discuss about. It's gonna be a really long video if I keep talking about those things. So I'll say that these are the main points that were covered in this book. Why was the Ron's rat lived so long? Or why was Lupin taking the potion from Snape only? And everything along the lines. And what is the reality of Sirius life? So yes, all that, all of that. So there are so many things. Now one more thing before I get into what I liked about the book, what I disliked about the book, what are the questions that I still have related to the book. The Prisoner of Azkaban is Sirius Black. If you look at it from Harry Potter's point of view, you'll hate Sirius Black. But once you get to know Sirius Black's story, you'll adore him. I adore him. I know the moment he was dead, I was literally crying. But I'm gonna put it for that book only. I don't want to talk about that right now. I did cry. Crazy. Some characters. Back to the story. When Prisoner of Azkaban, Sirius Black, he escapes the Azkaban. He was on the verge of getting back to Azkaban, but he flew away. That story is amazing and crazy. And during that story, there is a very powerful moment for Harry Potter and Sirius Black. And that is not only powerful but also scary, because that specific piece gave me one message, and that is, unless you won't stand up for yourself, no one can do anything. We can just look back at our past and be like that, you know, I wish I could have done that. Or if I get that thing that Hermione has for the time traveling, if I had that, I would have saved myself. Why not we do that in the very exact same moment? We should stand up for ourselves, because no one else on this earth is gonna save us the way we can save ourselves. Enough with the messes. Now, what I liked about the book, oh god, it's an amazing book. I love the plot. I love how everything was, you know, all the mysteries were getting solved. We didn't talk about Voldemort much. People are not getting petrified, or there is no any something specific that's going on that can scare the life out of you, apart from Dementors. Dementors, actually, when we say that Dementors symbolizes depression, it's really is crazy, because it is true. When a person is going through depression, life is sucked out of them. They don't know what happiness is. They just keep rewinding their bad memories. That's what I know about depression by far. If I'm wrong, forgive me for that. If you know more about it, drop your words in the comment section below. Another is how friends, when they come together, can save each other, but if they keep fighting with each other only, things will go crazy. not everything or everyone you trust for a really long time, it's not necessary. Even in the present or in future, you can trust them the same way. For example, the Scrabbers case. Scrabbers is just a rat. How long can they live? Yes, I understand you're in magical world and they should have lived longer than anyone else. For example, Dumbledore's fox, Fawkes. If I mispronounced it, I'm sorry. It's just me. How it gets burned after a point of time and then a new baby is formed from there. I understand that part. But a rat, okay, not gonna say anything more. That's all. That's all. Moving to the part what I didn't like about the book. Yes, I know there are not a lot of things that I liked about the book, but these were the main things that I liked about it. What I didn't like about the book is there are things that are going on which makes me go crazy. Then there are things that are going on in the Howards that does not make sense. That does not make sense. For example, now this is a point where I don't talk much about what I didn't like about the book because it's Harry Potter. We all can say that it has its flaws, but you accept them after a point of time because that's how the story is made. Coming back to my questions, now let's discuss about my questions, please. I want to talk about them. I have confusion. That's why we are here to talk about it. The first question. Why does Aunt Marge hate Harry Potter? What is wrong with him? What is wrong with them? Why do they hate him so much? Uncle Dursley hates him. Aunt Dursley hates him. Dudley hates him. Everyone they know hates him. Why? Why do you all hate him so much? Second question. What is wrong with these people? What is wrong with the administration of Hogwarts? They can let everyone fly, use broomstick, anything. They can play Quidditch match, but they can't go to Hogsmeade without the permission of their parents. Why? It's just a normal village. It's just a normal magical village. That is it. What is wrong with you people? Third question. If Hermione has that time traveling thing where she can just spin it twice or thrice and she'll go back to the time, how come no one ever noticed that she was in the arithmetic class at the same time as of the other subjects? She is so much studious. She is always studying, always and always. How come no one asked her the question, how is it possible? I don't know, I forgot the number of questions I've asked you because I'm really in a rage. Another question. How come Dementors were roaming around the train to Hogwarts? Yes, Sirius Black has left the premises. Your mistake. Why are you sucking the life out of Harry Potter? Why? Another question. Professor Lupin is in train. How come no one knows? And how come he sat in the exact same place as of Harry Potter? Do you have any answer? So many of coincidences, no? Another. If Hermione can use the time traveler, why didn't she go back and save Harry in the first place? Okay, fine, no one can see that, otherwise it would be a mess. There are so many places where she could have used it. Why just for the study? She could have gone back and took Harry Potter to the Hogsmeade, or she could go back and tell Harry Potter that this might happen. Kindly don't come anywhere near Aunt Marge, and you'll be able to go to Hogsmeade because things will go smoothly and it will be all good. Oh, by the way, another question. Why did Harry Potter use Neville's name only while he took the night bus? Darling, you have a great mark on your forehead. Everyone will notice that. And they'll ask you whether you're Harry Potter or not. Why didn't he cover his face with a muffler or something? Or a scarf? So his half face will be hidden. By the way, tell me one thing. Crookshank, let's say in a hypothetical situation, Crookshank ate Ron's brat, that is Scrubbers. Why was he pissed off at Hermione? Hagrid, Professor McGonagall, Fudge from Ministry of Magic. They were in Hogsmeade in a bar and they were talking about Sirius ran away, Sirius killed Harry Potter's parents. Didn't they know that anyone could have heard that? And yet they were talking about it there. Bravo. Now, that's what we call talking about someone's life in privacy. Amazing people. Amazing. Just amazing. By the way, if a person is taken to Azkaban, how come Hagrid came back as himself after 2 months of staying there? Another question related to Azkaban only. If Dementors feed on your bad memories, Longbottom had bad, Ginny had bad, Harry was just a child when everything happened. Then why only Harry Potter? Why not anyone else? Talking about the bad memories, Malfoy is full of that. He is a bad, mean person. Why not him? Why only Harry Potter? I'm sorry, Malfoy, I'm running after you, but... So guys, those were the only questions I had with me regarding Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. If you have answers to any of those questions, kindly leave them in the comment section below. And if you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe and share. And regarding the first and second part of Harry Potter, the books that I have reviewed, I'll attach the link to them in the description below. So guys, that's all from my side. Stay safe, take care, and don't forget to subscribe.